Oh, the Timmy thing.
Get a bunch of competition dudes and ask them how Timmy's trained. Yeah, that'll work.
Right. We will provide very valuable input.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name is Ben. On deck, we got the regular cast of dudes. Got Matt Hopkins.
Hi.
Nick Yatola.
Hey, guys.
Tim Aaron.
Hello.
All right. Guys, today's topic, she's a doozy. We're asking about ammunition for production. All right. This guy, he wants to know all of it. He wants to know what kind of bullets you use. 115 grain, 124 grain, 147 grain, round nose, hollow point, cast plated, or FFJ. What kind of powder to use? Holy shit. There's so much stuff here. Nick, you are the most nerdiest dude here. I think it's fair to say.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
It's not good or bad. I'm just being descriptive.
Okay.
Maybe.
So, Nick, what do you use and why?
At the moment, I've shot probably 90% of everything that I've ever shot. It's been plated 147 grain bullets, and I like them just because they're kind of easy to load. They're relatively cheap compared to FMJ. They're accurate enough. I've also used small quantities of a number of other bullets. I'm currently trying out some 147 coated bullets. I've also been shooting up some 124s recently. So I've tried some variety of
right,
stuff.
so you've gone through the buffet and you're ready to order off the menu. So what do you think?
At the moment, I think my favorite overall, I still prefer the 147s a little bit. I've shot probably 3,000 124s in the last couple months. They're fine. I'm not sure why exactly. I mean, to me, they're kind of 124 versus 147. I don't think that this is going to be a major factor in your game overall, but I kind of prefer the 147s. Just the recoil impulse I like a little better.
Okay, so do you have a powder preference?
I've used almost exclusively tight group for minor, and so I don't have a whole lot to compare it to. It works for me. I got a lot of it. I have some N320 I'm going to try out. When I first started, very first started loading, I shot minor 9mm with HS6. I would not recommend doing that. That was a horrible idea.
Is that a powder joke? I don't know anything about powder.
It's a slower burning pistol powder. It's I think that some 9mm major guys use it.
Oh, you big idiot! Haha. I don't.
I had it from my pre-competition days, and it does not burn very well at minor velocities in 9mm. It's very sooty and not good. So save that for the major guys.
What primer?
Yep. What did you just say, Hopkins?
What kind of primer do you use?
Federal. Yep.
Podcast, dude.
My guns are set up for Federals. I'll say that.
So you'd say you like 147s. You're cost sensitive. You feel that FMJs aren't worth the money. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like if you can get a coated or a coated or a plated substitute that works well, you'll take that over the FMJ, right?
At least for high volume, definitely.
Right. So like for what we do.
For what we do, especially for practice, I don't see the need to spend FMJ money, definitely.
But but it's not a good thing to use just cast lead bullets.
I've never used cast lead. There's
tried it at Tainus.
Yeah, I don't. The stuff I've read about those, I don't think I would like the downsides, and I've honestly never tried them.
All right, Tim, out of your Stealth Team Sig P320 of awesomeness, what are you shooting?
I prefer cast bullets with extra lube indoors.
The tight group.
No. Yeah, exactly. No. No. I've shot.
If you just have to say anything with extra lube, it just sounds sketch to me.
Of course. No, 124 grain. I like the moly coated bullets, like BBI bullets. I use a lot. For major matches, I've been using a jacketed hollow point, 124 grain bullet as well, and mixed brass. It doesn't matter. Any primer doesn't matter, and tight group. So it's kind of my 9mm minor cartridge of choice. So
Sounds amazing.
Doesn't it though?
Matt, what about you?
99% of my rounds have been 124 grain, Montana Gold, hollow points.
Ooh,
Practice
you fucking
matches.
baller.
I know, dude.
What's up? You're throwing down that fuck you money from CZ on ammo, aren't you?
I use tight group powder and federal primers.
So what I'm hearing you say is you don't practice a lot.
I practice some.
Yeah.
Do you strongly prefer that load?
It's the only load I've ever used.
So
yes.
You found something that worked and you just stuck with it.
I found something that worked for my MMPs and I still shoot it through my CZs. So I started reloading in 2010. Set my powder charge in 2010 and my bullet seat depth and all that stupid shit, and haven't changed it since.
Wow. That's impressive. Do you
and
check
you're
it every
giving
now?
me shit.
Do I check it?
Yeah.
At the chrono?
Say we've had this discussion before at a local match.
I check it at the chrono.
Do you take your first round that you drop powder in and put it back in the hopper?
No, that's stupid and expensive.
It's not stupid if you want an accurate chrono, a set of chrono rounds that you're loading a small number of.
What? What are you talking about?
It does drop. The first drop is usually about 0.1 high for me anyway.
Yeah, but how's that going to affect negatively
Jesus
the
Christ.
chrono?
It doesn't.
I knew you were the biggest
I
nerd.
only care if I'm going to shoot that specific set of rounds over the chrono as a test load.
Oh.
Then I want it to make sure I don't have one of those mixed in. So I don't want
I
to.
made at the last chrono. I won a mid-turn soul, so I wouldn't be tempted to mess with it.
Say what?
The last chrono I won in a match, I sold, so I wouldn't be tempted to mess with it.
I have that one.
Do you?
Matt, you make me look good on this.
No way, dude. I've seen your setup.
I don't think there's any prize for winning the chrono.
Yeah. All right, so I've tried. I can't say I've tried a lot of FMJs. I've shot some of them. I've never loaded 115s. I've loaded 124s and 127s. I've loaded round nose and hollow point. I've loaded cast, plated, and FMJ, and I've tried a few different kinds of powder. I prefer FMJs with tight group at 147 grain. I strongly prefer that. I like the recoil impulse of 147s. But I'm cheap, so I shoot 124 grain coated bullets, and I shoot a lot of them. And I switched back in the days of the Molly only coating. I switched off a tight group because there was way too much smoke. So I use WST now. So I load coated 124s with WST. That's what I load. And I load a shitload of it. My match loads are 124s as well. I just buy factory ammo and shoot that in matches. Even though I like 147s better, I shoot 124s because I think it runs the gun better. I think it runs the guns more reliably. So that's why I shoot it. That's it. Did we answer the question? Do we have any bonus to pick?
To take away from this is find something that works and is cheap and shoot it a lot.
Yeah, unless you're shooting Montana. So Montana golds with hollow points.
And then you better be employed by CZ.
Yeah, exactly.
One day Matt will take his own advice. Find something cheap.
find something cheap.
I've thought about it, but then I don't want to change my setup.
If you got something that works, maybe it's worth an extra. What is it? It's like a penny a round more or something, or 2 pennies for FMJ, something like that.
Yeah. And if
So it's more than that.
no, it's not.
I don't know how much it is. I really don't.
It's like maybe a penny more.
I think at this point there's like no reason to shoot FMJs especially for practice. There's no reason.
It's got to be
The
30 cents around.
coated or the
So if I shoot 15,000 rounds a year, that's only $220 more, and I don't have to mess with resetting my press up. Totally worth it.
$220?
Easily.
Next time I'm coming through wherever you live, Hopkins, I'll come bail your reset your press for $220. You can choose something else. Try something else. It'll work.
Then you have all the time you got to test it, make sure it works, make sure it's accurate enough. Sounds like a lot of work.
You must do more tests than me. I shoot 10 of them over the chrono, and then I shoot 400 of them in practice, or a lot more than that probably. But
you don't accuracy test it?
I shoot them offhand at 50, and as long as they don't look obscenely horrible, I'm like good enough.
Okay.
I shoot
I know
mine.
pretty much what I can do offhand at 50. So
I make sure mine will shoot a 2-inch group at 3 yards, and then I'm good.
Smart.
I've never had something fail. It's never happened. No, I don't really do that. But all right, Nick, do you regularly shoot indoors?
Regularly, yes. In volume, no, not a lot. I occasionally practice indoors.
All right, that's good enough for me.
I don't shoot a lot indoors.
Here's our next question, guys. Any good way to practice for or cope with shooting in low light? We end up shooting indoor matches half the year in interior Alaska, and it makes things a lot more difficult. So, I probably shoot indoors the least of all of us. I do it occasionally, but what do you guys? Matt, you shoot like a Tuesday night deal indoors, right?
Yeah.
Do you find that that's difficult or different or something?
I don't find it that difficult. It's a little different than outside, for sure.
Most guys don't like it, I don't think.
I don't really have a problem with it.
So do you feel like it's low light or the lighting situation's different or something?
It can be, but they're pretty good about shooting where there's a light over the top of you.
Okay.
You're not like hidden in a cave. But I think it helps with the mid-range target where you're basically looking through the sights. You know, because everything's at around 10 to 12 yards. Nothing's usually farther than that. So I think it helps with that. And then you're not really focusing on the sight super hard on those shots. So it gives you a good practice on that. You're like looking through it to the target, just seeing the flashes of it.
So, all right. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I think for me, I perceive that it does make a difference. I don't know if I'm unique in that regard, but
no, it's just you're not.
I don't feel like I can track the sights quite as fast indoors, and I think it has to do with the lower lighting conditions. So, I would turn on as many lights as possible, and I would wear clear or yellow glasses. Those are the two colors I've found that are like acceptable indoors. And I made the mistake one time of wearing some glasses that had a slightly darker tint, and it was horrible. So I would just
don't wear sunglasses in the dark.
I would try to maximize the amount of light available with glasses and overhead lights, and I don't think a fresh fiber optic rod is really going to make that much difference, honestly, but you could try that. So, yeah,
all right. Tim, what do you think?
I do find it quite a bit more difficult to track the front sight. Draws tend to be a little slower, things like that, especially on a little bit longer targets. Just because it's a little harder to pick up the front sight. I do concur with Matt though. Like it does make you. It's good practice for being able to track through the sights instead of looking directly at the front sight or having such a refined sight focus. So, yeah, clear glasses are definitely a must. We've got one indoor range a little closer to me than Matt that is very well lit inside. So, and I find there's no difference to me shooting there than shooting outside. But, yeah, for the most part, most indoor ranges, the one I practice at the most, it's tough. You tend to either try to set up to where you can practice directly with a light right over your head, or or shoot targets, or moving in and out of positions where light is readily available. So, but I wouldn't say it's been at a detriment to my training or anything. In fact, it makes it really easy when you go back out to shooting outside. You're like, holy shit, the gun's got this front sight on the front of it that I can see clearly. That's pretty cool. So, because I shoot a lot indoors. So.
All right, Nick, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, you could do some drills that you hopefully know what your general skill level is outside, and just compare it to indoors, and just see how it pans out. And if you see a pattern of being worse indoors, then I certainly would not rule out the light being a factor, even if you don't immediately perceive it. I mean, nothing that indoor light, unless you got something like Tim's going on, I guess. But I mean, it's the brightest indoor setup is probably not even as bright overall as a hazy day outdoors. So, for me, I perceive a difference.
All right. Sure. I just had to use the Googly machine to make sure that I'm not talking crazy here. And I'm not, as it turns out. I used to really have problems shooting indoors when I used a red fiber. Switching to green helped a lot. Your eyes do pick up green better in low light. So having a green fiber rod makes the front sight post easier to see. So that makes a big difference. It's probably the one gear change I would make, aside from shooting more patiently or whatever, like these other guys do, because I do find the sights harder to see. Switching to a green fiber helps a lot, I think. And then I don't try to match my outdoor shooting pace when I shoot indoors. On the rare occasions I have to. I think I've only shot indoors like maybe 20 or 30 times the whole year. So it's not a lot. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, I run green fiber in all my guns too, just because of that. Because I shoot so much indoors. So I found that to be equally helpful, is to shoot green fiber on my guns that have fiber front sights.
I've tried both colors, and I don't see a difference in the two inside.
I do. I sure do. When I decided to dump my red fiber, actually at an outdoor match, when I was shooting, my eyes were adjusted for bright sunlight, and I shoved my gun into a port or something, and it got hit by a shadow, and I couldn't see my red fiber anymore. It was just gone. So I was like, man, fuck this. There's got to be a better way. And since I've switched to green fiber, I haven't had that problem anymore. That's it. Well, all right, guys. This is hard-hitting stuff. We talked about ammo, talked about fucking shooting indoors. Awesome. Really great. All right, if you have any shooting questions you want to send to us, go to bensteger.com, send them to me. We'll answer them, even if they're about, sort of boring-ass gear stuff. You need your questions answered, so we'll do it. Yeah.